Cornucopias is a cutting-edge open-world MMO set in a world where humanity has ascended from the Earth's surface and created a breathtaking new world in the sky. This fantastical realm is a system of floating islands carved from the land we once called home, now encased in radically advanced dome-shaped structures suspended high above the clouds. Each one is a futuristic marvel with its own unique environment, identity, and thriving communities. It is within these domes the epic journey begins. Here, players take control of their own personal avatar, which gives them the freedom to choose their destiny. Be immersed in vast landscapes, explore vibrant settlements, and engage in a myriad of activities such as crafting, commerce, combat, racing, and more. Welcome to a world where the sky is no longer the limit.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Copi Cafe. This is episode 81, and you just saw the lore and intro there. That's a little bit about what Cornucopias is. We got some fun topics for you today. Rob Gregg here with me, co-CEO, and myself, Josh Jones. And we're going to be talking about the node sale, a little update on the node sale, some new team members and what they're focused on. A little bit about the 90-day release, some details, some alpha on where we're headed in the next few months. Then we got community questions and a leak for you as well. So why don't we just go ahead and kick it off? Rob, what are you partaking in? What libation are you imbibing today?
Oh, well, you might hear it through the episode, but underneath my chair, I have a little dog that is snoring. That dog is called Bailey. So Bailey, I'm going to have a Bailey. It's quite late here in the UK, so I'm just going to have a nightcap. I'm not going to go crazy.
All right.
What are you drinking, Josh?
It's
not too much.
It's a nice
full of ice.
Iced coffee. Help me get through the
ice.
Remainder of the day. It is Valentine's Day today, so happy V-Day for all you lovers out there. And
very nice.
The Baileys?
Nice little liqueur. That'll help me sleep tonight.
That's got a little kick to it, right? Some alcohol in there?
There's a lot of alcohol in yeah. It's about, 30-40%, something like that.
Maybe we should just talk for about 30 minutes while you drink that, and then and then I could really try to get some alpha out of you for the episode.
Yep. Well, possible.
Just kidding. I know that would be dangerous. Okay, here we go. Node sale. We had a few hiccups in the very, very beginning, but got that resolved quickly.
Yep.
And the ETH node sale has kicked off. It's, I don't know. It's exciting. We've got NFTs on 2 chains now. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, we've already sold over 4,500 nodes on Cardano. And now we also have over 1,800 sold on Base, which is an Ethereum EVM.
Yeah. So that's very exciting. It's good for us, and that kind of puts us in the realm of needing to really focus on the delivery of the software for the nodes and setting up on the back end to be able to actually start delivering on that, ideally before July, but that is our deadline is July. So, I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to say about the node sale, but it's on Base, as many of you know. We've got instructions in the Discord for those of you that want to participate. There's a video on how to, get your funds over to Base in the least expensive way. I believe really it's send USDC and send the the small amount of ETH that you'll need for gas over to Base. You could add the Base network to MetaMask pretty easily. Then you send those coins over to Base to set up your wallet to participate. It's as easy as that, really. And ideally, you send that from a centralized exchange instead of bridging, because the bridging fees on ETH could be pretty high. So most recommended economical route for that would be to send it from a centralized exchange. But and then jumping into our platform, Cornucopias.io, click on Marketplace, and off you go. So for any of you guys interested in that, the nodes info, there's a nodes deck that you can look up how it all works. All the details are there. I think it's a great innovative system. You've put together the proof of concept, and you're working together right now with Greg, who's building, hopefully going to start building out actually, you tell me, where are we with that? You guys have been talking about the architecture of the node setup for the commercial level of the node structure. So tell me what's going on.
Yeah, the architecture and the plans, they're all in place. We now just need to choose what the technology will be at the back end. So the database and the front end.
They're in
how
place?
That's going to integrate. So, but I mean, that won't take long to do.
Okay.
We just need to involve the rest of the team now.
That's awesome. Well, how many of the rest of the team do we have to pull in, out of curiosity?
Well, the like Jeff and the back end, the AWS guys, just to peer review the plan. We get the go ahead, and then off we go. Because they'll have to do some integration.
Great. Well, that's awesome. So you feel pretty good about our timeline then?
Oh yeah. Be done in a few months.
Yeah, and Greg has got quite the track record in terms of commercial development for major companies. So we're in good shape, in good hands there with you guys working together. It's kind of like you, Greg, and Jeff working together on that, I would say.
Yep, he's just finishing a contract for a large FTSE 100 San Francisco-based company, and he knows all about this stuff. Yeah,
good stuff. Yeah, ended up working out quite nicely. So that's one of the people, one of the new team members that have come on and is going to start has already started helping with that. So that's good. And then we've got one other that we've brought on. I think we talked about him a little bit last week, but the idea is that he'll help work on the building achievement system and progression system. That system is two-sided. That's more the database, the back-end side. But then once that's implemented, we have another burden for our programmers on the Unreal Engine side. Correct?
Yeah, I mean, he's got the full package. He's got the client server. He knows how to communicate from the server to the back-end database. He's also got a long history within Cardano, to be fair. He's developed a lot of software that people would have heard about over this last few years. So yeah, he's got the full package.
It's kind of my hopes, and I don't know if this is realistic or not, but it's my hopes that he develops the back end side and then starts to learn from some of our programmers and can really just take the majority of the weight off of them so that they can keep going on other stuff. But I don't know what that learning cycle would be like.
Well, some of them, yeah. I mean, what's natural is to work on some of the Unreal Engine plugins. They're quite simple. They're quite simple to build, and then build the APIs that will go directly from the server to the back end. Because we at the moment, so his first task, we're going to break him in gently. At the moment, the hollow caches, for example, they're all saved locally on people's PCs, and everybody knows this. Some people know the location and how to remove them, and they'll know it'll all reset. So the first task is to have those saved via an API to the database. But we're not going to do that from the client point of view, because then people can look at the messages and then they can track them, and then all kinds of cheating and hacking will happen. Right. So all that communication will happen from the server side, which is a different way of thinking things. The client is just the front end, but as you're playing, you're actually all playing on the server as well. So the server will do all that. He'll write all the code that happens there, and that will communicate directly to a queue within AWS, and that queue then will softly offload to a database. So we have all that architecture, pretty slick. Hopefully that will be done within the next month or so. Then that will be saving. We then have the ability then to save that to a leaderboard.
Have you guys discussed timeline? I know we just started getting him onboarded, but have you talked a little bit about timeline with him?
We'll be on an aggressive timeline, because we'll also be saving some of the racing data as well. That'll be task 2, and then all the achievements as well. So yeah, I mean, once we have those saved to a database, we can then have a leaderboard for the holocaches, and we'll have the ability to reset that within game as an achievement. Then we will also have the ability to save racing data and history. That then creates a leaderboard. Those leaderboards then we can run competitions by, and people can use them. We will also be able to offload that data to the layer 2 that Dave is helping us with. So this is like a longer term vision, and then history of the tracks, the vehicles, the drivers, those can then be made public via an API, and then people can build their own game interfaces and services on the back of real time data. So that's where this is going, and obviously
you're talking about with the Dega partnership there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's all part of the big vision, and
so much of what
we'll achieve that within a few months.
Dega long ago is finally about to start to come into fruition. We probably need to get Carlos back on the show at some point soon.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, well, it's good to hear we have him on an aggressive timeline. I don't think anybody on the team is not on an aggressive timeline.
Yeah.
There's obviously so much that is coming together this year, so many moving pieces and interconnected pieces, and it's going to be interesting to see how well we can deliver on all of that. But I think we've got a great start.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, so that's very exciting.
Hires.
Do what?
Some good new hires.
Yeah.
We're also taking on a couple of artists as well. I know, and some devs. So I say taking them on. They're at kind of final interview kind of stage.
Yeah. There's one that I'm aware of. Was there another one?
As in an artist and a developer, the two different people.
Yeah, I don't know of two.
Not final. I'm just saying we're interviewing. We're just interviewing.
Yeah. So we've been really, and I picked up the ball for Zach last week because he was out for a few days. So I went ahead and interviewed a couple of those guys, passed them off to David, and one of them turns out could be a great addition to the team, and we're bringing him on as a junior environment artist, which is awesome. And then Zach has made a lot of progress this week in talking to quite a few more, which is great. So we are definitely in a position where this year, we need to bring on ideally another 10, I would think, and maybe more, but gradually over the year, and that can accelerate near the end of the year. But it's like you always want to start thinking of hires well ahead of time, because you don't ever want to be in a crunch and have to make a quick decision.
By the end of the year, we'll have somewhere between 40 and 50 full-time internal employees, which is amazing.
Yeah, it is.
It's a lot of people.
And then, looking at 2025, that could go, I think that accelerates even more. So maybe it's 10 to 15 this year, but 2025 might be 30.
But when we have all
do that too quickly.
When this part, we're still building, we're still planning, we're at the building phase, and the building phase never stops. But when you have a lot of the core systems in place, that's when you go in the content phase, and the content really is just pile on people and just build more content for the game, for the players,
building out specialized teams for certain things as well.
More animals, more trees, more environments, more add-ons, more templates, everything. Yeah, it's just more people.
Yeah, it's great. So we've got a good chunk of the foundation, and you guys are going to really start to see a lot of that this year. We're coming into our own. This is definitely the year of the corn, as we've said. But it's and throughout the year, it's just going to be adding more and more content as we lay that foundation, get the core game loop in place, add more content, but then we start to build out specialized teams. And that's why I say 2024 or 2025 can really be the start of when we start, really aggressively building out specialized teams for certain things. So for example, I definitely think we get a team of 5 to 6 programmers to work on first-person shooter PvP type stuff within custom domes and all of that. So there's so much more there that we could talk about, but it's focus on and deliver on the things that we have right now, knowing what's on the roadmap, and let's get there in the most efficient way that we can all along the way. So fun things to think about. Okay. So 90-day release. Let's get into that. So inventory is going to come up. We'll talk about that later, connected with the leak. But the avatar creator, so that's next month. This has been something that's in the works. I mean, this is something that takes a long time because you got to, first build out the characters, and it's been a long project. And we've got a lot of progress on it, and it is really a AAA type quality delivery with some. I mean, originally there were like 300 sliders, but on morphing the character, and I don't know what we're gonna launch with. Where the idea I think was to narrow that down a little bit and make it a little more simple, but we'll see. I'm not certain of that, but I do know that we're making good progress, and we should be testing it for the month of March, then delivering it.
Yeah, I mean the character itself is the most complicated system of everything that we're building. People have seen we're on version 2, version 3, version 4. God knows what version we're on at the moment, but it interacts with a lot of different things, and obviously that has animations around it as well, which will definitely be beefed up and added to in the future. But it's also how the character looks. How the character bends, how it interacts with all the other systems. So it's very, very complicated how you put the different outfits on and all that and interacts. So I think this is an internal leak, nothing for the public, but I think we will probably get to see the first version in next Tuesday's meeting. That's what I've been told, or maybe the week after. But then, so I mean, that'll be exciting to actually see what that looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait to see that. And I think probably most likely, my guess is that is, that 1 month is not really sufficient testing. That it is going to be, there's just, and the reason I say that there's so much complexity with it, and you don't, what we don't want is creation, the creation of a bunch of wacky looking disfigured, like it needs to be a certain level, and then we can get into the crazier stuff later, but like we've got to get this set to where it makes sense. And there with the 300 sliders or whatever the number is, that has such a large amount of complexity with it and so many things involved that I don't think 1 month is sufficient. But that being said, if we can get it far enough,
then it's been version 1 for the public, version 1 for the public to see, and all our testers they will they will test that to the max. I have no doubt.
Yes, they will. Well, that's another thing that we talked about today. It's not really scheduled for this episode, but bringing more testers on for exploring Solace and debugging and going through all of that. Actually, that brings to mind this. This isn't audible, Rob, but the some of the things that come up in development. You have your roadmap, you have all these things that you want to do, but so often you have to slow down and go, wait, or you run into issues that need, quick resolution. And it's like all of these things we want to be working on right now, but we literally today had to decide, okay, let's take a week and a half, step back, allow people to get caught up and fix and resolve some issues and get cleanup and maintenance to reposition ourselves for more growth. So we're taking a step back from some of the stuff that the programming team is working on to create some fixes that will make it more efficient for the testing group, for example. And you don't really plan for that. All of a sudden it's like, wait, it's not efficient the way that we're testing this. Let's add X, Y, and Z so that our guys are because look, we've got 34 34 work. What do we call them? Work boxes.
36 work boxes. Yep.
36. Okay, so 36 work boxes. I thought it was 34 for some reason. And they take 6 hours a piece to walk through and test. That's just for one pass.
Yeah, there's some on the corners that are quite tiny because it's a circular. So it's an 8x8 grid.
Yeah, so we've timed it, and 29, Ant and Scruffy have been working on this, 29 minutes to walk across. That's just one walk across. They've got to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And so it takes about 6 hours to cover one work box, which basically means we've got a significant chunk of work that needs to be done for quality control on the land. And that's one of the things that we're working on there. But that's just wanted to throw that in.
They've calculated to test the 3 Solaces, 1, 2, and 3. Every box will take about 2,000 man hours. But that's just to test them once. I mean, we will typically go through those about 10 times. So the team that we've got cannot keep up that and keep the quality. So over the next, so like you say, I mean, we're
10 times. Not, I don't know over what period, but 10 times is.
We're not pausing as such. It's very common to refactor and to look at some of the technical debt and get them. So what we're doing is we know that we need to create an actual test server that can be a public test server as well. I mean, the game is on test, but this is like a staging server that the testers will see before the public see it. So we're going to create that, but we also need some testing tools. We need to drop different testers into different boxes, so they'll need an interface that people won't see. So drop me in box 8, and then what we're going to do is we're going to invite some members of the public, some of the community to come on and work for us full-time or part-time, and help with those, because the more hours that we can get in all these different zones, the better the quality of the final game is. And we're in such a unique position that we have such a large community that we really do have an opportunity for you guys, really, if you want to become a tester.
When the time is right, we'll probably submit some means of doing that. We have a few people in mind already, but that'll be interesting next step. So when we're ready for that, we'll give you guys more information on that as well. So okay, let's move on to Solace. So Solace 3 is being worked on right now. Solace 1 is near complete. Yep. Solace 2 is
Solace
near
1 has
complete.
been tested fully. Its very first pass.
Yeah. 2 is not tested.
2 is almost finished art-wise and almost ready to come on. and 3 we broke ground with 3. 3's being built.
Yeah. 3 is being built. So, that's one thing that I'm really trying to accelerate this year, or we are, with bringing on a junior environment artist. That's around land. Ideally we bring on another 4 or 5 junior environment artists so that we can really accelerate getting going on Esperanza and then also Fortune. So, because the goal is that we get all of those delivered this year, with a progression system, with the avatar creation and all of it, and get some
interactions,
some fun
inventory,
gameplay going.
A lot. Yeah. Well, it'll be like a proper game. Fancy that?
Yeah. We have a long way to go, in so many ways. We're trying to incorporate more lore into the game, and David's working on some of that with our writer, and just amazing stuff coming this year. We could go on and on, but I think that's probably good for Solace. Like, we're ideally going to start. We'll open up Solace 1 for people to explore, maybe sometime in end of April. Not certain how that's going to look, but we want to give people the opportunity to get into the land and run around it before the land plot selection.
Oh yeah, no, that will definitely happen. You'll be able to run around all 9 before that. I mean, what we're looking for
not all 9. Look, we're starting with Solace 3, and that's where we'll do the land plot selection.
No, what I meant is before you do the land plot, you will have time to run around the land.
Yes.
However it's released.
Correct.
Yeah. So, so what we're looking to do is obviously have a major release every month. We've got the 90-day plan. So this 90-day plan is inventory system in the next release, avatar in the one after, and then hopefully Solace 1 in the one after that.
Yeah. It's a good plan. Let's hope everything comes together well and we don't have too many issues. God knows we've had quite a few along the way. We've made mistakes, but we've done quite well for this breakneck speed that we're working at. Many of us need breaks, but okay. So that brings us up to community questions. I'll go ahead and throw one out to you from Late Game Crypto, Josh. With the Knights. What are the team's thoughts on land placement mechanics beyond the priorities of rarities? Will it be a first come, first serve order selection process?
So let's just do some speculation here, because none of this has been finalized whatsoever.
Yeah, it's an idea we're tossing around.
Yeah, there's a couple. Obviously, we've said that the mythics are going to choose their land first, which is the case, and that will always be the case. So what the question is, because you might have more than one, but you also might be in a country where when we release the land, it might not be convenient for you to, imagine if you've got 10 properties and it's 4 a.m, you might be a little bit stressed. So we could do a first come, first served. That is option 1. That is a plan. What we're talking about, and we would need feedback, and we'd also need other ideas from the community, and we'll put this to a survey and a vote in the future maybe. But we're thinking about the idea of you will go to the web interface and you will choose your number 1 choice for your mythic plot. I want my mythic plot to be that plot there. But then you also say, well, if I can't have that one, this is my second choice, and this is maybe my third choice. So you can chill. You'll have time to go and do those. And if you have more than one, you've got time to go and do that for however many you've got. And also, if you're in a country where it's not convenient, you just wait for it to be convenient for you. And then you get to choose this. So it'll be over a couple of days. And then we will have an algorithm that will try and put all these together and try and put people to where they are. If obviously you're the only person that says, I want that plot as my mythic, then that's what will happen. If there's a couple of people, then the algorithm will, I don't know, probably just do a random thing. So that's not what we're going to do at the moment, like I say, we're still talking about this. It's felt like this could be a really fair system, or the first version of just first come, first served, which I think is pretty hard if you got lots of land, but it's definitely...
Yeah, the issue with, the latter is, there's a good amount of people that have a ton of properties. There's guilds, then there's also people that are all over the world. Yep. And so we want to make it as fair as we can, ideally. We're always trying to think of you guys.
More work for us to figure out that algorithm and that interface, how to do that.
It is, but we could do it. And,
we can definitely do it.
We'd love to hear your feedback on it. Please just throw some comments in the YouTube, in the, comment section of this video. We'd love to hear your thoughts. But, so no decision's been made on that just yet, but we are thinking through it. All right. Next question, sir. Are you ready? Roland with the Knights. Just watched Copi Cafe episode 53 with Carlos and Dega. Very curious if there's an update for the L2 they're building. Oh, interesting. I alluded to that earlier. For Cornucopias and all the NFT new utility.
Yeah, I mean, this must be fresh in our mind. So yes, as the achievements come through, we will be pretty soon storing all the racing data. So how many people raced, what the fastest times were for the tracks, the order, the driver, all that kind of stuff, that will be stored pretty soon. That will be built onto leaderboards, and then that will be farmed off to our layer 2 that they are helping us build, and then a public API. So we did talk about it.
And the public API part allows the builders to build on top of that. So it might be an esports league or whatever, and you want to get leaderboard data up and whatever it may be. We're empowering people to build on top of the traction that we eventually foresee us having with a large number of players coming in to play the game and some excitement around that. So we'll also look for intentional partnerships in that regard as well that could further that along, build out the ecosystem with smart strategic partners that have a large number of users. But go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, I would say one of the things that we can probably do pretty early is when that data is saved and we do have the ability to have the leaderboards and we also have the track times, what we can do is we could filter on a system that says what was the fastest time in this 2-hour period, for example. So we would filter all the data and it would tell you who was the fastest in those 2 hours. And why that's important is if, let's say something like a guild wanted to have a competition and saying, look, for the next 2 hours, the fastest time will win some prizes. Well, you'll be able to filter down that leaderboard. There might be some other players in there as well that are not entered, but you can just ignore those. And then you will have a perfectly timed competition that you can filter on. So it's very basic to begin with, and that'll get more advanced over the future. But pretty quickly, those will be able to be done. And I think that probably be able to be done for capturing holo caches and for racing, just two of the basic ones to begin with, but really, really powerful system.
And in thinking through that system, that leaderboard system, obviously that creates a sticky element for the game. People love to be in the top 10 or whatever of a leaderboard, but that, ideally we're building that out to scale to each area. So there would be eventually a fishing leaderboard with a fishing report page on the website that would just kind of gather new interest and things like that. So in a racing report with the racing leaderboard, all of these things to really build out those ecosystems that make it a lot more fun and exciting and give you guys so much more content to explore and some competitive elements to it as well. So it'll be fun. All of that is also in the works, and that's what one of the new hires is all about right now. So very cool. We ought to have Carlos on in about a month when that gets further along, something like that.
Sure.
Okay, next up, block by block from the Knights. You got 3 questions from the Knights.
Oh, well, he's Knight here. Maybe that influenced me.
Huh? All right, you ready?
Go for it.
Once the Avatar Creator is launched. What will happen to the NPC characters? Will they be integrated into the game as NPCs at that point? Additionally, after creating an avatar, will there be an option to modify the character?
Well, I mean, yes, you'll definitely be able to modify the creator whenever your character whenever you want. I think that will definitely be a thing. The current, as you go into the game at the moment, there's 29 preset characters that you can choose from. Some have mining outfits on, some have rumble ball, and on all different styles. But they all have faces that were actually created from an early version of our character creator. So those I have been told, subject to change, those presets will be available. So you can start with one of those NPC faces, and then craft it, make the hair longer or nose. So you can start with those, or you can start completely blank, whatever that means.
All of that completely subject to how testing goes with each of those individual characters. But yeah, that's the template characters, that NPCs, we are trying to get all of them as a starting place. And
all those faces, so not necessarily the outfits that they're wearing, but all those faces will become NPCs within the game. So those will naturally fit in there. So
I think people would really miss Rattlesnake if we just...
Rattlesnake will definitely be in there.
Oh yeah, he's got to be in there. I think
he'll be in there.
He's got a large presence and need for Rattlesnake type characters in Esperanto.
I'm sure he's got a backstory that people will be interested to know.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Well, that's our community questions. So thank you guys for participating and for your curiosity, and we're glad to always answer some of your questions, so hopefully that helps. Okay, this brings us to our leak, so let's go ahead and bring that up. We've got, it's the inventory system, and I like it. I like it a lot.
So this should be in the next build in a few weeks. What you will see is it's like a jigsaw puzzle. You can put the various items in, and it's kind of like a game within itself, because if you slot them and kind of leave some gaps, then you're going to struggle. So if you've got OCD, you might want to move them and make it very efficient. Then you'll be able to drag it over to the various sections. So you've got the clothing section, so you will be able to mix and match clothes. I'm pretty sure the clothing, though, is not in the first release, so you won't be able to do that.
And the backpack is something that causes you to think about using, as you could see, some of the sizes of the items are different. So if it takes up a lot of squares, well, then you've got less room in the backpack for a few other things. So you have to be strategic in selecting how and what you're going to carry around in your backpack. The backpack's interesting, isn't it? Because when you actually put the backpack on, that gives you additional slots to put more items in. So it does expand a little bit. That's what I'm saying. Also, the backpack tab is where you would select the items that go into your backpack.
So, but it's been cleverly designed, so you can't have a backpack within a backpack, so you can't have unlimited expansion. So that's done. Also, there'll be chests which will have a very similar interface, and you'll also be able to have, as people know, when they've been flying the different vehicles, when you select a vehicle, it has the amount of space in the vehicle. So the bubble jet has got some space, with the OG bubble jet, because it's got a big sound system and everything, has got less space in it. We've got the Astro that has a lot of space, so that's additional storage as well. So they all follow this very similar system. So I think it's pretty unique and pretty cool, really. And they auto adjust to the size, and you can move things around.
Yeah, it's a drag and drop, easy to do kind of scenario. Curious how that'll work with a controller, I guess. that'll be just as easy.
Everything that's built here, because usually MMOs for this don't really have controller support for the inventory, but we are building in, and it actually works from the controller. And you'll be able to right click some of the options that you have on the mouse will be mirrored on the controller. And another thing that you'll be able to do is you'll be able to drop items, but you can drop items in bulk. So you'll be able to go in here, select a number of items, drop them. They'll actually be dropped in probably a little box or a little chest, and then somebody can quickly come along and pick them all up in one go. And that may happen also if you die. The little chest may remain, so you have to come back and get them quick. So a lot of thought
right
gone
away,
into
though.
this.
The persistence is not going to be immediate.
No, not to begin with, but this is the long-term plan of how this will work, and then you'll be able to trade with other people.
All of these items that you may see. Actually, we're possibly looking at a different image, but we don't know exactly how many items we're going to start with, but we definitely have a really cool inventory system put together, and then more content, more items, more props, more tools, more weapons, more clothing. All of that is just exactly what you were talking about earlier, where we're in that content development phase.
And this is version 1. It will obviously improve as we get feedback and we develop it further.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's probably a surprise to a lot that it's as advanced as it is, and you'll have your hands on it in a few weeks. That's just crazy to me.
Yeah, it's exciting. All right, well, that brings us to a close. Thank you all for listening. This has been Copi Cafe episode 81, and hope you enjoyed it. As always, we'll see you next week, and have a good week.
Bye-bye.
Don't care what you say. I don't care what you say.